Now let us discuss about management of COPD. So we will discuss self-management, medical management, surgical management and nursing management one by one. Let us start with self-management. So patients should take their medications regularly as per the doctor's prescription. Then exercise regularly every day or at least 4 out of 1 week. This is the most important thing in management of COPD. Patients should quit smoking. If it is not possible to quit suddenly, patients should taper it gradually over the period of time. It is the single most effective and cost-effective intervention to reduce the risk of developing COPD and stop further progression of the disease. After discontinuing smoking, the accelerated decline in pulmonary function slows and pulmonary function usually improves. Obviously, to have good immunity, patients should eat a regular balanced diet. Fluid therapy is very important. Drink plenty of plain fresh water, at least half liter per day. Get adequate sleep. Maintain your hygiene. Stay away from infections. Now, what about the medical management? So, drugs are given to improve ventilation, to facilitate the removal of bronchial secretions, to promote health maintenance, to reduce complications, and to slow progression of the disease. Drug therapy is given to reduce symptoms, increase the capacity of the exercise, improve overall health, and to reduce the severity of exacerbations. Bronchodilator drug therapy are given mostly. They are the drugs that will widen the air passages by relaxing the bronchial smooth muscles and improve the ventilation of the lungs. Mostly they are given via inhalation, but sometimes they may be given in the form of oral tablet or intravenous injections. Regular treatment with long-acting bronchodilators is more effective and more convenient than treatment with short-acting forms. The principal bronchodilator treatment are mainly beta-2 adrenergic agonist drugs, then anticholinergic drugs, and methylxanthines. Now, these all drugs you will learn in detail in pharmacology in your second MBBS regarding their mechanism of action, their side effects, etc. They may be used singly or in combination. Now, the choice of the drugs depends upon patient's condition and doctor's view. These beta-2 adrenergic agonist drugs, example is salbutamol. They are sympathomimetic. Mimetic means they are mimicking sympathetic nervous system. So they will act on sympathetic receptors like beta-2 adrenergic receptors in the smooth muscles of the airway, and it will cause bronchodilation. These drugs may also enhance mucus clearance and improve the endurance of respiratory muscles. These short-acting beta-2 agonist drugs like albuterol, they have very few side effects. They have rapid onset of action and A peak effect is achieved within 1.5 hours and it will have duration of action of 4 to 6 hours. Side effects sometimes may develop like tachycardia, tremors, nervousness, and nausea. Then anticholinergic drugs, they offer more bronchodilation. They have fewer side effects than these beta 2 agonist drugs. These drugs will work by blocking cholinergic receptors located in large airways, resulting in bronchodilation. Example is ipratropium. Atrovent is a brand name. It is the most commonly used anticholinergic drug in this category. Now, after discussing drugs, let us discuss the role of oxygen. Oxygen therapy is sometimes used in COPD, especially when COPD is associated with hypoxia. So, oxygen therapy may improve the survival, exercise capacity, cognitive performance, and sleep in hypoxemic subjects. So, oxygen, as you know, it's a odorless, colorless, tasteless gas that constitutes about 21% of the atmosphere. And after giving oxygen, the partial pressure of the oxygen PO2 in the inspired air will increase. So, what are the indications for oxygen therapy? So, they are to reduce the work of breathing, to maintain normal alveolar O2, to reduce workload of the heart, and to keep saturation of the oxygen more than 90% during rest. Oxygen is usually given in hypoxemia caused by respiratory causes like what we are discussing at present, COPD. Then in other respiratory causes like pulmonary hypertension, then pneumonia, pulmonary embolism, then in cardiovascular problems, then in central nervous system problems. So oxygen has a wide role. Very uncommonly, surgical management will be tried in COPD subjects. One is the bullectomy. We have discussed what is bulla. They are air pockets due to overinflation and destruction of the wall of the alveoli. So these bulla are enlarged air spaces that do not contribute to your ventilation but occupy the space in the thorax. So surgically they will be removed by bullectomy operation. Then another surgery called lung volume reduction surgery. It involves removal of a portion of the affected lung that allows functional tissue to expand. So normal tissue can work properly. And last is transplantation of the lungs, which is a new emerging surgery. Now last is nursing management. So first is the diagnosis. After confirming the diagnosis, the nursing management's objective is to improve ventilation of the patient. So monitor the sound of the lung every 6 hourly, perform chest physiotherapy, advise the subject to drink very good amount of fluids, then teach the person how to cough properly, assess the condition of oral mucous membrane and perform oral care to maintain the hygiene. Now if you will find that the patient's sleep is disturbed, then objective will be getting adequate rest. So promote the relaxation by providing a dark and quiet room, ensure adequate room ventilation, as far as possible avoid use of sleeping pills, and schedule the care activities to allow periods of uninterrupted sleep. Now, if you suspect activity intolerance due to inadequate oxygenation, then our goal will be to improve daily activity performance. So, monitor the severity of dyspnea, stop or slow any activity, that may lead to change in respiratory rate. Advise the patient to avoid conditions that can increase oxygen demand. Now, if patient is anxious due to dyspnea or due to any fear, then our objective is to relieve the fear of dying. So, how to intervene? Provide a quiet and calm environment during acute episodes. Open the doors and curtains and limit the number of the people in the room. Encourage the use of breathing retraining and relaxation technique. Give sedatives or tranquilizers if required. Then non-pharmacological methods of anxiety reduction are more useful, like psychotherapy. Now, if there is ineffective airway clearance related to excessive mucus collection or ineffective coughing, then what to do? Our objective will be effective airway clearance. And how to intervene? Again, monitor the lung sounds every 6 hourly, perform chest physiotherapy, advise the patient to drink good amount of fluids, then teach them in coughing technique properly and assess the condition of oral mucous membrane and perform oral care. Now, what are the complications of COPD? Most frequent infections like pneumonia, then increased risk of thinning of the bones, osteoporosis, especially if patient is given steroids for longer time. Then problem with the weight, losing the weight is the problem. If chronic bronchitis is the main part of your COPD, then sometimes cardiac complications like heart failure, especially affecting right ventricle, and this condition is called cor pulmonale. Then collapse of the lung, which may lead to pneumothorax, sleep disorders. So these all are complications which may happen if proper management of COPD patient is not done. So this was all about chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Thank you.